Okay, but you were saying the 43. So let's go to the 40. Maybe you start there because you have it. I actually don't have it in my planets.
Yeah, I have it in the Lilith, the asteroid Lilith. This key was one before we both are in the asteroid group. Before starting exploring the asteroids, I didn't know I have the 43, but there was always an inner feeling I had that somewhere this has to be. Like I have 23 in my Mercury, and I was like, 43 has to be somewhere. Like when I got that downloads that were like crazy, I just felt it somewhere. And when I found the asteroid, I was like, oh, hello. For me, 43 is just the genius freak. 43 is that freaky nature of Scorpio, that Scorpio that just, you know, feels free to express, feels free to think big, to think wild, to not care about I have to hide, I have to be not show my vulnerable side. It's just that brilliant, investigative, fiery brainiac. And it was interesting, some weeks ago I talked with some friend about this activation, and the concept of intelligence what was brought. I was like, how did we end up here with intelligence when talking about 43? And I find that many times people having 43 or 23 doubt their intelligence or doubt the message they can bring to the world. And I find these activations to be active in people that have brilliant minds, especially the whole channel. It's like, wow. When I see it in children charts, I tell the parents, like, you have a genius. So yeah, I find it's the rebellious side of Scorpio, the one that just speaks what he hears in the dreams, or I don't know where. How is it for you? You have 23. And
Yeah,
43, we just found it.
yeah, I feel like, you know, for me it's my mother because she has the 43.1 in her radiance and the 43.1 in her purpose. So I think also that maybe was why I didn't investigate my Chiron, and maybe you don't when you're young as well, which is for me the 23. But I can see it in her. I can see that she has this in her, but with the Swedish culture and probably also, like, you know, parallel life lines or something, I feel like there's still this kind of filter where it doesn't express itself, you know, where it's still like there's something else. It's not the 43. There's something else in the chart that says to the 43, no, you're too much, you know, you're too rebellious, you're too different. And yeah, I feel like I got to know it better when I was writing the copy a couple of weeks ago, and I was calling it the rebel in the 64 doors, because for me the 49 was the rebel, and the 43 for me was like, oh, ashna, throat, you know. It didn't feel like, for me, Scorpio has an energy that feels like so visceral, and so I could yeah, I got more like a sense of like, it's not just up here, it's actually in the whole, it's very much in the whole being. And also looking at the I Ching or the elements, it still has this heaven, it's heaven and fire, I guess. So it's like, it's still, yeah, because then it's the 14. So it still has a lot of the first gene key in it. So it became much more like cool, you know, to kind of study it and feel into it unfiltered. And I haven't really felt into what it does with my 23 yet. But I guess that that's part of it, like this unfiltered translation that can be genius, and that is part of what I'm, you know, what I feel like I'm here to do right now with the Venus. You know, I do the Spanish, I did a Spanish breakout call yesterday, and in the beginning of the week it was the French one. There's something, I'm not, I mean, that's not the 23, because the 23 is like a unique translation, but there is something in me that it kind of like, those are stepping stones that are making my translation of like whatever insights are there. Yeah, not something that not any, like, I guess that's for me the 43 and the 23. It's like, if you're going to say something in the world, say something that nobody can say in the way that you say it. You know, which that's kind of how I feel this channel.
What I found interesting in this dynamic, many times I meet people that have 43 that are in partnerships or work together with people that have 23. And what I found really interesting, for me, 23 is like that archer that, you know, has genius in the talent. They just arch an arrow and no one sees where they took the arrow. It's just way, way ahead. And 23 is that person who can translate the message and who can tell like a nice story about. They also saw it and they can translate it to the public. Like, do you know the genius of 43? Here I am putting words to it. So many times I see it in partnership, and even if it's not a relationship channel in the erotical way, I many times see it in couples that work brilliantly together because they translate this divine something.